my idea is that if the world tomorrow looks more like Argentina, again, Bitcoin will show its worth. It will show that it's an anti-fragile asset. It will show that it is incredibly flexible and will allow for people to continue to save despite the destruction of a lot of wealth in the world. So having said all this, let's take a look at possible future valuations of Bitcoin. I wanted to give the, make this preparation towards this point because some of the projections I'm going to give might seem quite outlandish if I would just give them at face value. The context, I believe, is this. We have the S-shaped adoption curve, and what you see below that is the kind of the demographic profile that's generally connected with the different phases of the S-shaped adoption curve. So first we have the innovators, the innovator stage. Perhaps this is where we were in 2011 in London when there was 150 attendance and there were no high-profile, not many high-profile people attending. Today that's very different. We have a lot of opinion leaders that are extremely interested in it. I believe there's quite a number of them present right here. They have a lot of knowledge, they have capital to back it up, and they're going to make Bitcoin big and boring so that the majority can start accepting it. So that's why I think we are right there. We have a long way to go in the growth of Bitcoin. And let's now take a look at some possible future valuations. Global hedge funds, for example, they have around $2.3 trillion under management, a part of which is cash. So we can imagine they might diversify just 1% into Bitcoin. Should that happen, according to my calculations, the Bitcoin price should rise to over $1,000 for one Bitcoin. Argentina, there's about $50 billion worth of paper money circulating, and I do mean dollars, so greenbacks circulating in Argentina. Should the Argentines one day decide, or maybe over time decide, to switch that into Bitcoin, Bitcoin prices will rise to over $2,000 per Bitcoin. Gold bugs. Gold is money, but Bitcoin is money too, and it has some interesting characteristics. So maybe in the future, people that own gold today might want to divest just 1% into Bitcoin, in which case we can see prices rise to over $3,500 for a Bitcoin. And then if we've arrived there, I mean, why wouldn't it just keep continuing? I don't see why not, because the more people get involved, the stronger the network becomes, the more entrepreneurs that are there to make things very easy so that even grandmothers can start using it, etc. So let's continue our possible projections. We know that the global shadow economy, for example, has a size of around $15 trillion. This is 2012. If we assume that the volume of Bitcoin today would rise to something equal to that of the shadow economy, so basically the black market would become a Bitcoin-based or a cryptocurrency-based black market. And if I assume then that the Bitcoin price would rise equally so, which we can talk about whether that's a good idea, then Bitcoin prices would rise to around $160,000 for a Bitcoin. Should Bitcoin actually become the new gold? People talk about Bitcoin like gold 2.0, the new gold. They actually use that phrase quite loosely these days. If this really is the case, we know that there's around 155,000 tons of above ground gold. These are the most conservative estimates I could find, the James Turk estimates. And multiply that with the gold price. Total valuation is around $7.2 trillion. So if Bitcoin really does become the new gold, one Bitcoin should be worth around $340,000. I mean, imagine the implication. You own 3 Bitcoins today, and that makes you a millionaire tomorrow. You own 3,000 Bitcoins, and you're on your way to become a billionaire. I mean, so you can see the kind of risk-reward ratio we are talking about. And then finally, I mean, Bitcoin is the new gold. The black market is using Bitcoin. Why wouldn't Bitcoin become the new world reserve currency? And then based on, again, the most conservative numbers I could find, what I come up with is a Bitcoin price a little over $500,000 for one Bitcoin. So very exciting indeed.